Hello, Talkin fight fans around the world, especially those located in the Philippines or anywhere in the world where there are Filipinos, our friends. We have got a special for you tonight, as we did last night. We're going to feature yet another great fighter from the Philippines that Neil the Deal himself has picked up and said, here's someone to watch. Who you got for us, Neil?
Hey, good evening, guys. How are you? How's everybody doing tonight? Hey, Graham, nice to see you again. Thanks for having me out. Yeah, so tonight we're going to continue with the Filipino fighters. There's quite a number of them that I've been taking a look at over the last few years, and they're really at the top of their game over there. Some of these guys, like we talked about earlier on, they're doing a lot of fights in that Asian Pacific League in different places, so we don't get to see them as much as we probably would like to. But you know, we're going to talk a little bit about these guys this week, the Filipino fighters. So today we're going to talk about an individual. His name is Genesis Servania. Genesis Servania from the Philippines. All right. He's born August 15th, 1991. So that makes him 29 years old. So he is a little bit of an older guy, but it's not like he's he's got a lot of years left in him. So he's from.
I would hope so.
Oh yeah, no, I watched a bunch of his fights today, and man, he's a really flashy fighter. He's got a lot of punching power, a lot of speed. He's really good. So he's from a town, I guess, in the Philippines. Originally, it was called Bacolod Negros Occidental, Philippines. So I don't know, Graham. Occidental, I guess that's the regions. Is that how there's different Occidentals I've seen?
Really?
Yeah, I guess there's different. I don't know how it works, but anyways, maybe you let us know. There's different towns I understand that are Occidental, or right. So he's from Bacolod, Philippines. All right.
All right. I'm
So
sure
he
we'll
has a
get
nickname. Sorry, what was that, Graham?
I'm sure we'll get people commenting and correcting us if we're wrong.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, guys. If you guys know anything about how that works, we'd be much appreciated to know because hey, it's good to learn, right? Be interesting. So he has a nickname, a couple of nicknames, but the one that I know that he goes by basically all the time is Kashimi. Kashimi. So that's his name, his nickname, and another one was Asqual. Asqual. So I guess that may have been a name that he had when he was an amateur, and then he decided to change it to Kashimi, right? So that's what they call him. Maybe you guys, maybe that might be a Filipino word, for something. So if you guys know, if the Filipino people out there know anything about it, let us know. It'd be great. All right, so he's been boxing since 2009 professionally. Now the question I have, and we're gonna ask the question right now. The last fight he had was in 2019, and I'm not 100% sure if he's still active, Graham. So anybody out there in the world, if you guys know if he's actually still active, that would be much appreciated because I wasn't able to find out if he was still an active fighter. So he has a fantastic record, so I can't really see him, and he's not very old. So Genesis, I'm sure you're out there if you're listening or you're checking this out, man. Let us know if you're still in the ring, you're still training, all that great stuff, and let us know if you got any upcoming fights coming, or if anybody out there knows anything about his upcoming fights. Please let us know. So let's just talk a little bit about his upbringing. He was born in a very poor town. He didn't have very much as a child, and at around 15 years old, he quit school and he became a bicycle driver. I guess a delivery driver of some kind. So to help pay the bills with his parents, right? So he's got that good upbringing. He realizes, he went out and he got a job to help the family. So then he started joining. Around that age, he started joining local tournaments, and he started in a few fights. He had only a few amateur fights. They don't even have a number on it, but not very many. And then I guess because they don't pay, he decided to turn pro, right? Because I guess he could make a little bit of money or something by turning pro. So he won the fights. Apparently he was really good. So he won the fights and he got signed to a promotional company, ALA. Graham, you ever heard of ALA Promotions?
I've not. No.
No, I understand. I haven't heard of it either, really, but it's run by an individual named Antonio L. Aguer, and he's a promoter. So he signed with him, and here he goes. So his total fights, then he turned pro, 17 years old. So his total fights, guys, are 35. He's got 35 total fights with 34 wins. So, and 16 KOs to go with those 34 wins and 2 losses. All right. So he has a KO percentage of 44%, which is still really, really good. I give him a lot of kudos for that. But like I said, he hasn't had a fight since 2019, and I don't know if he's retired as of yet. But I guess we're gonna see, right?
All right.
We'll figure it out somehow. So we'll talk about he's done some really big things. So in 2012, he won the WBC International Silver Super Bantamweight title. Then in his next fight, he won the WBO Asian Pacific Super Bantamweight title, which we were just talking about, the Asian Pacific League, and a lot of guys out there are fighting in that league. And it's very well recognized, obviously, WBO. In 2013, he won the vacant WBO Intercontinental Super Bantamweight title. And then in 2017, he had won the vacant WBO Asian Pacific Featherweight title in Japan. So he's been a pretty busy fighter. He's got a bunch of belts, 2 world titles, a silver title. All right, and he's, as far as the fights that I seen him in were amazing. He fought one fight we're going to talk about here in his notable fights, another up and comer who we are going to be talking about in the future, Graham. So it was interesting to see that he actually had already fought this gentleman, and so we'll talk about that in the notable fight section. So again, guys, this individual, Mr. Servania, Genesis, is a fantastic. I wouldn't really call him an up and comer, but I would call him. He's still going for the big titles. He's right on the cusp of it. You know what I mean, Graham?
Yep.
He's really close, right? So we'll go into his notable fights. The fight that I watched today that he was amazing. Like, it was the first one, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow. Was Servania versus Oscar Valdez Jr. Now, Oscar Valdez Jr., we're going to talk about him in a future episode when we come to the Mexican fighters. He's amazing. He's an amazing fighter. And Servania was as good. You guys got to watch that fight. It was neck and neck, Graham. And these are, Valdez Jr. is 2-time world champion, and Genesis Servania from the Philippines held his own and actually was feeding it to him pretty good at times, like literally. So he's got a lot of heart, man. And a couple other notable fights. He fought a guy named Rafael Concepcion, Servania versus Rafael Concepcion. And the other one that I watched was Servania versus Genaro Garcia. All right. So Genaro Garcia. But that Oscar Valdez Jr., he's another up and comer. We're going to talk about him moving forward, Graham. But guys, if you get a chance, watch that fight. And hopefully we can get a little bit more information in regards to if he's still active, or maybe because of COVID, I guess maybe there's no information about it. I'm not too sure. But he did fight in 2019, the end of 2019. So maybe, you know how it is. He can't fight in March, I guess. So he had already fought in November or December in 2019, somewhere in there, late in the year. So maybe he just hasn't come out again as of yet. So, hey, another great fighter out of the Philippines, guys around the world, Talkin' Fight fans, and Neil the Deal Show fans. Thanks for coming out, Graham.
Thanks very much, Neil. I tell you, just for the fans out there who are listening, watching us tonight, this all came about because we started speaking about Manny Pacquiao, and some of our commentators piped in and said, hey, there's a whole bunch of other Filipino fighters here other than Manny Pacquiao. So Neil took it upon himself to take a look into the Philippine fighting world and see who was out there. So congratulations. Well done, Neil. Appreciate it. And I hope the fighting fans out there recognize that, yes, indeed, the Filipinos are creating quite a whack of really good fighters, some of whom we've frankly never heard of, but that doesn't mean that they're not worthy of contention, and they are.
Oh, absolutely, man, for sure, 100%. They're like I say, they're a culture that is very prideful, and they take boxing seriously because Manny Pacquiao is a very big individual in that country. So I can understand that. I mean, we like hockey, Bobby Orr, right? Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky. So he's kind of, I can understand that. So yeah, the
Yep.
fighters that are coming out of the Philippines, there are some guys I'm going to talk about coming up that are real early up and comers, like 10, 15 fights, 10, 12
Yep.
fights.
Yep.
But I just thought we'd talk about a couple of guys that, are really still, they're all pro, obviously, and super talented at everything they do, but they're just an inch away from, that title that they really are looking for. So let's keep an eye out for Genesis Servania, and hopefully Genesis, you can accomplish that goal one day. And I'm looking forward to watching any of your fights, man. That Valdez fight, my friend, fantastic. Thanks, man. Just amazing.
Thanks very much, Neil. Appreciate it. And again, thanks to all the viewership, listenership out there for tuning in. Remember to like, share, subscribe. And if you are subscribed, and hit that notification bell. And we'll see you tomorrow night, Neil. Appreciate it. Oh, at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.
Yeah, it's Friday tomorrow, is it not, Graham?
That's right. That's right. It comes quickly, doesn't it?
So, Neil, the deal, and Talkin' Fight fans, we're going to be here tomorrow at 6:30, guys. We're going to be talking about another Filipino fighter.
Oh, great.
Keep our trilogy going on the Filipino fighters. There's quite a 2 or 3 more that I'd like to talk about. So, thanks a lot. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow night, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Take care of yourselves tonight. Go Leafs, go! There they are. Go Leafs, go! And take care of yourselves. Have yourself a nice evening, and stay warm.